What time is it now? 4 o'clock? Afternoon? I think we're in afternoon now. Yeah. Good afternoon, and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam. I realized I said this morning I was going to review the finale of Harley Quinn. I forgot. I was busy this morning. And I forgot. So we'll do that tomorrow morning. I do need to come up with more content. Granted, it's not like we have a particular drought because Andor starts this week, but I do need to come up with more things to talk about that are not capes related. I don't know why though. I mean, at the end of the day, this is because I find it fun. I mean, I find it amusing. So if I'm doing shit I don't like, it no longer is fun for me. Then why am I going to continue to do it? So, which brings us to today's movie, See How They Run, which yesterday in my review of The Woman King, I improperly attributed the lead actor role to Ed Norton. I don't know how I made that mistake, but I did somehow. It's not Ed Norton in the lead. It is, what the fuck is it with BJ's that make people go fucking insane? BJ's the store, not a literal blowjob. Because I stopped at Walmart. I need to pick up some essentials. I went to Walmart, going to the movies, and I'm recording from there on. So, Ed Norton is not in the movie. I made that mistake. I don't know how I made that mistake. Is Ed Norton in another movie now? I don't think he is. But this is Sam Rockwell, and the movie is thoroughly entertaining. It is a whodunit, or in the Sam Brooklyn Nine-Nine, a who has done this, and you know, it executes it well. I mean, that I think that one of the things that I really liked about this movie is how heavily they leaned into the aesthetic of the 1950s whodunit. Like, they lean into that aspect of it, and they lean into it hard. And it has the look and feel and everything of one of those 1950s, you know, movies, like an Agatha Christie style thing, with the Art Deco art style and all of that. While at the same time, it still maintains that comedic, like, difference to it. It hones closer to a comedy than it does to, say, Death on the Nile from earlier this year. What was the other one? Or, like, I think even Knives Out, to an extent, kind of hones closer to a drama. It's got comedic elements in it, but at the end of the day, the movie is still ostensibly a drama, even if it does have some funny moments in it. I think that's kind of a key difference between, say, this and other ones like it. This is basically a comedy, and I didn't think that at any point this year I would be seeing two comedies in the same week. That was not something I thought earlier this week was Clerks 3. It feels like a lifetime ago because the fucking week went forever. And it's not that the week went forever, it's that very specifically, I went to the movies on Tuesday, and I never do that. I usually go to the movies Thursday or Friday, or both in some cases. In this case, I only went Friday. But when I go to the movies on Thursday, it's like, alright, I go to work, it's Friday, then I have a weekend. Going to the movies on Tuesday, all of Wednesday, I'm like, alright, it's Friday. And then the entire time, I'm like, no, it's not Friday, it's only fucking Wednesday. And that threw my whole week off. But I still need to see that movie a second time. I haven't been able to, but I feel like if I see that movie a second time, it will have a marked. It'll either accept or reject my initial premise, and we'll see how that goes. Probably when it goes PVOD. I think it's going PVOD relatively soon, based on something I read yesterday, or earlier today on Collider. They seemed to indicate that this movie would be going to PVOD relatively soon, which we'll be doing we'll do a 30-minute review about that, I think. A lengthy deep dive on Clerks 2, Clerks 3. But we'll see. But anyway, see how they run. We have, it is a murder mystery set on a play. It's about a Hollywood, kind of affair, and it's all that kind of decadence and stuff that you would expect from 1950s Hollywood, and all kind of works together pretty well. I mean, there are a lot of movies that come out that are just very good, very well executed, and I just can't find anything negative to say about it. I feel like toward the end, and I feel like part of the problem is the runtime is a little short, and I think when we talk about runtime, we have to talk about it in confines to how well is the story laid out, because the runtime is directly linked to how well the story is laid out. If the story feels rushed and the movie's too short, then it's a detriment to the movie short. If the movie feels too long and the movie's really short, then you fucked up your pacing. And I think in this case what happens is by the time you get to the third act, everything about the movie seems so rushed to get you through the plot. You don't really get a chance to breathe. And that kind of pacing isn't in tone with the movie, where it's like, okay, so they're doing this because of X, Y, or Z within the movie that makes sense that we would be having this kind of breathless pacing. So because none of that is happening, it really doesn't make a ton of sense to me that, by the time we get to the end, we have to, be like, okay, let's go. And then part of the problem is, it's like, when we get to the reveal of who the killer is, and the movie does that thing that they used to do a lot with these whodunits in theaters, where it's like, don't tell anyone who, what happened. So I'll respect their wishes on that. I'm not going to reveal who the killer is. But when we reveal who the killer is, I'd sit there and be like, alright, pause. What now? I'm like, who is that? And then it's like, his entire backstory is not really exposited through the entire, thing. And I'm like, alright, can we tie this together a little bit cleaner? And I understand that part of the conceit of the genre is that when we get to the end of the movie, like, we're going to hear the killer's entire reason for doing things. But I feel like that, to an extent, I want it laid out a little bit better in the movie. So when we have this twist at the end, it works a little bit better. It's fairly entertaining, too, from a comedic aspect. Saoirse Ronan has some great comedic timing. And I don't think I've ever seen her in anything so designed that way before. Like, I don't think... Like, I'm trying to think what else have I seen her in. Like, I've seen her in multiple at least 2 Wes Anderson movies. She was in, fuck off. She was in, Grand Budapest Hotel. She was the one with the weirdly shaped birthmark. She was also in, I want to say she was a prostitute in French Dispatch. I feel like there's definitely something else I've seen her in. I just can't place my finger on it. But she's great. Oh, Ladybird. That's where I saw her. Ladybird. She was great in Ladybird, too. And she is also great in this movie. But now she gets a chance to do some comedic acting, and she does it very well. While also having some heart and emotion. At one point, someone comes into a room and is like, that was because of me. And she's like, I knew it. I am placing you under arrest. And Sam Rockwell's like, no. And the two of them play off of each other very well. And it's because it's a buddy kind of comedy, the two of them have great chemistry, and that's probably the most important part of a movie like this, that the two of them work very well together and play off of each other very well. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of a bad thing to say about the movie, besides the fact that maybe the third act could have been a little bit better spaced out, and that it's like they could have done a better job. Like, the big reveal of who the killer is comes down to something that both the constable and the inspector know, and it feels like the audience should know, but at the same time we don't spend enough time with that character to be like, oh, bingo, that's it. Where it's like, it leaves the audience playing catch up, where in a movie like this, your best path to victory, I guess, would be to leave the audience in the same kind of you know, in the same kind of feeling, like keep them up to speed the entire way through, so they feel like they are moving along with the detective. So yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, I really like the ending. I think that last thing where it's like, you know, don't tell anyone what happened. It just evoked so many memories of old Hollywood, where that was something that they would do at the end of movies like this, where it's like, do not, like, I'm thinking, like, probably the most famous example I can think of was Witness for the Prosecution, which I think, last I heard, Ben Affleck, what's it called? I'm sure Ben Affleck is still remaking that. Last I heard, he was working on that project. I haven't seen anything since. I saw it on IMDb. I don't know how accurate that is, though. It could have been uploaded, and then it could have been said in passing that he would like to remake that movie. But either way, it's a great movie if you haven't seen it. It's from 1952, 54, something like that. But at the beginning of the movie, it says, you're going to watch this. Do not tell anyone the twist to ruin it for them. And that kind of thing, it really stuck with me. And the fact that this movie ends with that, that kind of like and the way they do it is very theatrical. It's like, because you've, like, when the movie opens, it's the entire thing is set around a play of a murder mystery play, and it opens with that, like, because you have watched this play, you are now complicit in the you're now complicit in the murder, so don't tell anyone what you saw here. And it's like, all right, that's kind of funny. And then at the end of the movie, when they do the same thing, it just kind of caught me. I was like, that feels right. That feels like the right kind of thing. We don't see that now, especially in an age of social media where people are going to go run out and immediately say who did it. It's a good thing all around. And if you have not seen this movie yet, I would highly recommend it. It did come out this week. I think The Woman's King is going to end up winning the weekend out. But it's just a great movie. It's not necessarily a movie that needs to be seen in theaters. I will concede that point. I think that this is a movie that can wait for streaming. But any way you see it, it's worth watching. So housekeeping as we get into the upcoming week. What have we got coming up? We have what is happening? Not House of the Dragon. Rings of Power. I've been doing weekly Rings of Power episodes. I'm going to start now. After we did last week's episode, I'm going to do episode 4 through 8, I guess. Then She-Hulk will be continuing. Andor is starting this week. I feel like I need other. Go ahead, motherfucker. You can't just get on the fucking room. I feel like Andor is, starting. And then there's definitely other things that I can't quite think of. What opens next week? Don't Worry, Darling opens next week. I'll be seeing that probably Friday. That's the next big release is Don't Worry, Darling. And I don't know what the last week of the month is. I might end up picking up the digital, the PVOD copy of Confessed Fletch. Just so that way I can see that and have an additional episode for the new Fletch movie with John Hamm, aspiring actor Tom Hamm from the Progressive commercials. I'm trying to think, what else is there? I mean, September's a weak month, then we get into October, and I think October's also a weak month until we get to the Christmas season, and things start to pick up again. Although we do have the New York Film Festival coming up, so I may be going to some things there. But we'll take a look. I'll take a look at my schedule and see what we have coming up. So, until then, have a great rest of the week.